In a vibrant kingdom nestled among rolling hills and whispering forests, King Okon, a wise and generous ruler, declared a grand feast to unite all the animals of the land. The sun gleamed over the village as the royal messenger, a spirited antelope, bounded through the paths, beating a drum that echoed across the savannah. "All creatures, great and small," the antelope proclaimed. "King Okon invites you to a feast of splendor. But come with clean hearts and shining coats, for only the pure may dine at the king's table." The animals erupted in cheers, elephants trumpeted, monkeys chattered, and gazelles leaped with joy. Hidden behind a gnarled baobab tree, Tortoise listened, his small eyes glinting with ambition. His shell was dull and dusty, far from the shining coat required, but his mind buzzed with cunning. "A feast fit for a king," he muttered, "and I shall not miss it." Tortoise knew he could not attend the feast in his current state. His shell, caked with earth from his wanderings, would never pass the king's scrutiny. So, he devised a plan. He trudged to the riverbank where the birds gathered, their feathers shimmering like jewels in the sunlight. "Oh, noble birds!" Tortoise called, his voice dripping with false humility. "Your wings carry you to the heavens, while I am bound to the earth. Lend me a few feathers, I beg you, so I may join you in honoring King Okon at his feast." The birds, led by a wary eagle, tilted their heads. "Tortoise," said the eagle, "your tongue is as slick as a river stone. Why should we trust you?" Tortoise bowed low, his shell scraping the ground. "I only wish to celebrate with you, my friends. I promise to be humble and true." The birds, softened by his words and eager to attend the feast, reluctantly agreed. They plucked their finest feathers, crimson from the parrot, gold from the weaver, and blue from the kingfisher, and wove them into a dazzling cloak for Tortoise. With their help, he sprouted makeshift wings, and together they soared toward the king's feast, held high in the clouds where only the wind could go. The feast was a marvel, set upon a table woven from clouds and starlight. Golden platters overflowed with yams, roasted maize, and fruit sweeter than honey. The animals marveled, their voices a symphony of awe. King Okon, seated at the head, welcomed all with a warm smile, his crown gleaming like the sun. Tortoise, however, had no intention of sharing. As the bird settled at the table, he raised his voice, his feathered cloak shimmering. "My dear friends," he declared, "I must reveal a truth. The king announced this feast for all of you, and I, Tortoise, am named all of you. This banquet is mine alone." The birds gasped, their beaks dropping in shock. The eagle's eyes narrowed, but Tortoise was already piling his plate high, gobbling delicacies with shameless glee. The other animals, bound by the king's decree of peace, could only watch as Tortoise devoured the feast meant for all. Their stomachs rumbled, and their hearts burned with anger. The birds, humiliated and hungry, refused to tolerate Tortoise's greed. One by one, they spread their wings and flew from the cloud table, leaving Tortoise alone amidst the empty platters. He licked his lips, satisfied but suddenly uneasy. The clouds beneath him swayed, and the earth below seemed impossibly far. "How will I return?" he muttered, his bravado fading. In desperation, he called to a passing sparrow. "Please, deliver a message to my wife. Tell her to gather all the soft things in our home, blankets, leaves, anything, and pile them below to catch my fall." The sparrow, still stinging from Tortoise's trickery, delivered the message but twisted it in revenge. "Tortoise says to gather all the hard things, stones, sticks, and bones," he told Tortoise's wife. Confused but obedient, she piled rocks and thorns beneath the clouds. With no other choice, Tortoise leaped. He plummeted through the sky, crashing onto the heap of stones with a sickening crack. His shell splintered, jagged lines spreading across its surface like lightning across the sky. As Tortoise lay groaning, the sky gods, watching from above, took pity on him. They descended with gentle hands, piecing his shattered shell together with divine care. But the cracks remained, a permanent reminder of his folly. Limping home, Tortoise faced the scornful gazes of the animals he had deceived. The monkeys jeered, the gazelles turned away, and even the ants whispered of his shame. King Okon, hearing of the ordeal, summoned Tortoise. "You sought to outwit the world," the king said, his voice heavy with wisdom, "but greed and trickery only lead to ruin. Let your cracked shell teach you humility." Tortoise nodded, his head bowed. From that day, he moved more slowly, not just from his nature but from the weight of his lesson. And the animals of the kingdom, whenever they saw his patchwork shell, remembered, cleverness may open doors, but only a clean heart keeps them open. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Ola's African Folktales for more timeless stories.